discussing the torque, speed or slip characteristics of three-phase induction motor. The topics to be covered today are torque, speed characteristics of induction motor, different modes of operation related to the torque, speed characteristics, the starting torque, condition for maximum torque, condition for maximum power, and variation of torque with respect to rotor resistance, voltage, and the supply frequency. Now this we have already studied in the last lecture, that is the Thevenin's equivalent circuit of the induction motor. What is the rotor current? That is given by the Thevenin's equivalent circuit as V divided by Re plus R2S plus J Xc plus X2, and the total torque was given as T is equal to M by omega S, where M is the number of phases, omega S is the synchronous speed in radians per second. Current I2 square, that will be given by VE whole square divided by Re plus R2 by S whole square plus Xc plus X2 whole square into R2 by S. So this is the equivalent circuit we have already discussed in the last lecture. Now with this torque characteristics, with the variation of the slip, we draw the torque slip characteristics. Now here you can see we have divided this torque slip characteristics into three regions. Main is the motor region, where the motor operates, and the motor operates between speed 0 to synchronous speed, or the slip varying from 1 to 0, because slip is 1 at when the rotor is at standstill or in the starting condition, and the synchronous speed, at synchronous speed slip will be equal to 0. So the motoring region is from slip 1 to 0, and the speed when it is varying from 0 to synchronous speed ns. That is our motoring region. In the motoring region, even if the speed is 0, some amount of torque is developed, and that torque is known as the starting torque. The electromechanical torque increases and it reaches to its maximum value, that is known as the maximum torque or the breakdown torque. The slip at which the maximum torque occurs is denoted by SMT, and this is the region where the motor operates, that is full load operating region. This is known as the stable region of the motor, and this is your unstable region of the motor. We'll discuss later on this stability condition. Now if the motor speed is somehow increased above the synchronous speed, then the motor starts operating as a generator, and that gives the induction generator. For the induction generator, the motor has to run above the synchronous speed, that is slip has to be negative, then only the motor will be operating as a generator. Now the motor, if in the running condition we change the phase sequence, then the rotating field produced by the induction motor changes and it becomes as minus ns, and the motor is still rotating in the same direction as before. So the relative speed between the rotor and the rotating magnetic field becomes as almost double the synchronous speed, and that is known as the plugging of the induction motor. Normally it is applied to stop the motor immediately, that is known as the plugging of the given motor. For the plugging application, the slip will be between 1 to 2 and the speed will be from 0 to minus synchronous speed, because if we don't stop the motor in between, the motor will start rotating in the opposite direction. So that is known as the plugging. Now we'll discuss one by one. In the motoring mode, the slip has to lie between 0 and 1. For this range of slip, the load resistance is in the equivalent circuit model is positive, that is the mechanical power is the output, or the torque developed is in the direction in which the rotor rotates. The torque is 0 at slip is equal to 0, that is synchronous speed, and from rotor circuit analysis it is given as the torque equation, and when the slip is equal to 0, the torque produced will be also equal to 0. The torque has a maximum value called the breakdown torque at the slip SMT, and the motor will decelerate to a halt if it is loaded more than the breakdown torque it can produce. At slip is equal to 1, that is when the rotor is stationary, the torque corresponds to the starting torque, and it is normally designed motor, the starting torque is much less than the breakdown torque. The normal operating point is located well below the breakdown torque. The full load slip is usually 2 to 8%. The torque slip characteristics from no load to somewhat beyond full load is almost linear. That is, in the stable region when the motor operates, that is almost linear operation. Then the modes of operation of induction machine in the generating mode. First was the motoring mode. The second comes the generating mode. That is, your motor is rotating above the synchronous speed. When the motor rotates above the synchronous speed, the slip will be negative, and that can only happen when the rotor is driven by some prime mover and above the synchronous speed. And also the stator terminal is connected to a three-phase supply of constant frequency. The load resistance is negative in the circuit model, means the mechanical power must be put in while electrical power is put out at the machine terminals. That means it is acting as an induction generator. Now the braking mode, when slip is greater than 1, the motor runs in the opposite direction to the rotating field, that is N is negative, and the absorbing the mechanical power, that is the braking action, which is dissipated as heat in the rotor copper or the rotor windings. Practical utility of slip greater than 1 is in quickly stopping of motor by reversing the rotor direction with respect to a stator is known as the plugging, and this is done by just changing the phase sequence of the supply system. Now when the motor will operate in the stable operation. Now here we have shown with the blue color, it is the induction motor characteristic, torque speed characteristics, and we have shown three conditions where the motor will operate. For stable operation, it is necessary that dL by dN, that is the differentiation of load torque with respect to the speed, should be greater than the differentiation of the torque produced by the motor with respect to the speed. If this case is not satisfied, the motor gives the unstable operation. That is, if the load torque variation with respect to speed is less than the motor torque produced by the rotor, that variation is more, then the motor is unstable. And that condition is only satisfied in the linear region near the synchronous speed. Hence, that gives us the stable operation of the induction machine. The red region, every condition what you see is cutting the induction motor characteristics at two places. This red, green and black color straight line conditions is the load torque, that is the pump or whatever mechanical load you have connected to the motor, and where it is cutting the two portions in the unstable and the stable operation, you will get the stable operation only in the straight line region of the speed torque characteristics of the induction motor. So that is the stable region. Now rotor torque of the induction machine, that we have already done. It is given by air gap power by omega s, that is equal to 3 by 3 phase motor, so it will be 3 by omega s, I2 square R2 by s, and substitute the equation with the induced EMF, rotor induced EMF, and you will get the equation. Now what is the starting torque? For calculating the starting torque, in the previous generalized torque equation, we substitute S is equal to 1. So when S is equal to 1, you get the equation as the starting torque will be equal to 3 by omega square I2 square R2. Substitute the rotor current values and you will get the equation as starting torque is equal to K1 R2 by Z2 square, because K1 is constant. Hence, it will be dependent only on the rotor resistance and its impedance. Now, what will be the condition of the maximum torque? When maximum torque will be produced for a given motor? So, because the variation is with respect to the speed or slip, so to find out the condition of the maximum torque, we will differentiate the torque equation with respect to slip and equate it to 0. So, write the final equation of the torque, equate it to 0, and when we equate it to 0, we will divide the whole equation by the slip, so that the numerator differentiation will be also equal to 0, and in the denominator we have got R2 square by S plus S x2 square, and that differentiation will give us the actual condition for the maximum torque being produced. So when we differentiate it, we get the condition as x2 square plus minus r2 square by s square should be equal to 0. Rearrange this equation and you will come to the final equation as s should be equal to r2 by x2 for the maximum torque to occur. So at the slip where your r2 by x2 is there, that is, when the slip is equal to r2 by x2, at that particular slip we get the maximum torque for the given motor. So maximum torque, what will be the value of the maximum torque? The value of the maximum torque, we find it out by substituting s is equal to r2 by x2, and that is the magnitude wise it is given by k e2 square by 2x2. Now with this equation we'll try to find certain conclusions or draw certain conclusions. That is, we conclude that the magnitude of maximum torque is independent of the rotor resistance. The slip at which maximum torque occurs is dependent on the rotor resistance. The desired slip at which the maximum torque occurs can be obtained by adding rotor resistance in case of the wound-wound motors, and the maximum torque is inversely proportional to the rotor reactance. To obtain the maximum torque, the reactance of the rotor is kept to minimum value, and the maximum torque is directly proportional to the square of the supply voltage. Now these are the few things we observe with the maximum torque equation, and we can design a motor to have the desirable characteristics of the induction motor. So these points are important to calculate the dependency of the maximum torque. Now we'll try to have the rotor torque equation with the exact equivalent circuit. Exact equivalent circuit means we'll take the Thevenin's equation, and in the Thevenin's equation term we draw the condition for the maximum torque with respect to the electrical part. As we say, when the source resistance is equal to the load resistance, then the power transferred is maximum. So that is how the maximum torque condition is being defined. That is, your R2 by S is the load. So when your R2 by S is equal to the stator equivalent resistance and reactance and the rotor reactance, then your power transferred to the load R2 by S will be maximum. So this is how we try to define it with the help of the equivalent circuit, the condition for the maximum torque, and finally you get the same equation, that is, the torque will be maximum at R2 by Re square plus X2 square. So substituting in the torque equation, your maximum torque becomes as Kt by 2 Re plus Re square plus X2 square. Again, it is independent of the rotor resistance. It is only dependent on the stator resistance and the reactances. The mechanical power developed in the induction motor is given by 1 minus S into the air gap power. The air gap power is given by I2 square R2 by S. Mechanical power developed becomes as M I2 square R2 1 minus S by S. Substitute the equation for the I2 and you will get the final equation. Now what is the condition for maximum power developed in the rotor can be done using maximum power transfer theorem. That is, when the load impedance is equal to the source impedance, the power transfer to the load is maximum. So we'll use this Thevenin's equivalent total equivalent circuit to have this equivalence. So this load, electrical load, is R2 into 1 minus S by S. So at the slip where the maximum power occurs is denoted by SMP, and we try to calculate using the electrical equivalence, that is the load resistance when it is equal to the source resistance, using the maximum power transfer. This has been derived. So when you calculate it, you get the equation or you get the condition for the slip where maximum power occurs is R2 divided by under root of Re plus R2 whole square plus X2 whole square plus R2. Now when you substitute in the power equation, you get the bottom part, that is your PMM, the maximum mechanical power output, will be equal to M into V square under root of Re plus R2 whole square plus X2 square and divided by Re plus R2 plus Re plus R2 whole square plus X2 whole square whole under root and plus X square. That is simple, just you have to substitute it into the actual PM equation, that is mechanical power equation, and you will get the final derivation. Now we'll come to the torque speed characteristics with the variation of rotor resistance. Now as we saw that the maximum torque occurs at a slip where R2 by X2 is equal to slip, that is when R2 is equal to Sx2, there the maximum torque occurs. So by changing the rotor resistance, we can have a condition when the maximum torque can be achieved even at the starting of the given motor. That is, we add the additional resistance in case of the slip ring induction motor, and the rotor resistance plus the additional resistance is equal to the rotor reactance at slip is equal to 1, then we'll get the maximum torque even at the starting of the induction motor, and that is showed in the graph starts shifting from right to left, and you can get the maximum torque at different slips by adding the rotor resistance on the rotor circuit, external rotor resistance, and that is only possible in case of slip ring rotors, not for the squirrel cage induction motors. Now this is the torque, this was the torque speed characteristics, this is the torque slip characteristics. That's the opposite. The slip is varied from 1 to 0 and the synchronous speed will be varied from 0 to. This is your variation of the torque characteristics with respect to the supply voltage. From the equation you can see that the torque is proportional to the effective voltage whole square. So if the effective voltage is reduced by only 10%, that is voltage is 90% instead of 100%, the torque developed reduces to 81% of the maximum torque being produced, because it is the square of the voltage variation. So if the voltage is reduced to 80%, the torque will reduce by 36% and the actual torque produces just 64% of the actual torque that can be produced by the motor. So when we vary the voltage to 70%, then the torque produced reduced to just 50%, and therefore when you vary the torque with respect to the voltage, then the whole production of the torque reduces by the square of the supply voltage as it is reduced. The second variation or the speed control is achieved by the V by F constant. Now over here you can see the maximum torque remains the same, and it is the total characteristics which is shifting from the right to left. If you try to control the motor by just changing the frequency, if you reduce the supply frequency, the motor will go into saturation. So to motor not to go in saturation, we have to keep the V by F constant. That is, if frequency is reduced, the voltage also needs to be reduced. If only frequency is reduced, the voltage is not reduced, then the motor will go into saturation. So that's the reason this is also known as the constant flux operation, because V by F constant means we are keeping the flux as a constant and the maximum torque can be also kept constant, and slowly we increase the voltage and the frequency both, and the maximum torque can be achieved even at the starting of the motor, and that is the best suitable speed control methodology which is normally used in the industrial drives. So today we have studied about the torque speed characteristics, different modes of operation, that is generating mode, motoring mode and the plugging mode, starting torque, the condition for maximum torque, the condition for maximum power, and the variation of the torque with respect to rotor resistance, applied voltage and the frequency. Thank you.